It started as a simple decision, one small change. No one expected it to spiral out of control, but history did.
In the early 1200s, Genghis Khan and the Khwarezmian Empire were not enemies. They traded with each other and even shared common rivals. At the time, there was no reason to expect war. Then, a Mongol trade caravan entered Khwarezmian territory. A local governor accused the merchants of spying, seized their goods, and had them executed. Genghis Khan did not respond with force. Instead, he chose diplomacy. He sent envoys to the Shah, demanding justice and punishment of the governor. The Shah faced a choice that seemed small. He could apologize, or he could show strength. He chose the second option. One of the Mongol diplomats was executed, and his severed head was sent back as a message. In Mongol culture, harming a messenger was not just an insult. It was an irreversible declaration of war. Genghis Khan responded with a full-scale invasion. Entire cities were erased. The Khwarezmian Empire collapsed completely. What began as a single diplomatic decision triggered one of the most destructive military campaigns in human history. In May 1941, a single German submarine surfaced in the North Atlantic. It was damaged, surrounded, and its crew believed it would sink. But it didn't. The submarine was U-110, and that mistake would quietly change the war. When the crew abandoned the vessel, British sailors boarded it, not to destroy it, but to search it. Inside, they found something more valuable than the submarine itself, an Enigma machine and secret naval codebooks. Until that moment, German U-boats were ghosts. Convoys vanished. Ships were torpedoed without warning. The Atlantic belonged to Germany. But now the Allies could read German naval messages. Not perfectly, not instantly, but enough. Convoys were rerouted. Traps were avoided. U-boats began to disappear, not because Germany got weaker, but because its secrets were no longer secret. The British did something unusual next. They let U-110 sink. Officially, nothing was recovered. Officially, the submarine went down with everything inside. Germany never realized its codes were compromised, and so it never changed them. Reports began to look strange. Sinkings dropped. Attacks failed. But no one could explain why. The war at sea didn't end that day. It just quietly stopped being winnable. Not because of a battle, not because of a fleet, but because one submarine didn't sink when it was supposed to. In the 8th century, the Byzantine Empire was at war with Bulgaria. Emperor Constantine V believed he had an advantage no one could see. Spies. Hidden inside the Bulgarian court, they warned him of every move. Again and again, Bulgarian plans failed before they even began. That's when the Bulgarian ruler, Khan Telerig, understood the truth. His court was compromised, but instead of hunting for traitors, he chose deception. Telerig sent a message to Constantine, claiming he wanted to defect to Byzantium. He said his life was in danger, but first he needed one thing: the names of the Byzantine spies helping him. Confident and eager, Constantine believed the message. He sent the list. Every name. Telerig never defected. Instead, every spy named in the letter was arrested and executed. Years of Byzantine intelligence vanished in a single reply. The war continued, but Constantine was now blind, all because he trusted the wrong message. In November 1989, East Germany was under pressure. The Cold War was thawing, protests were spreading, and the government was losing control. Behind closed doors, officials discussed easing travel restrictions to the West. But the change was not meant to happen immediately. It still needed preparation. That same evening, a government spokesman named Günter Schabowski stepped in front of reporters. He wasn't supposed to announce anything yet. During the press conference, a journalist asked a simple question: when will the new travel rules take effect? Schabowski hesitated. He looked down at his notes, and then he said one word: immediately. The statement was broadcast live. Within minutes, people flooded the streets of East Berlin, heading toward the border crossings. The guards had no orders, no instructions, no idea what to do. They called their superiors. No one answered. Crowds grew larger, tension rose, and finally, faced with thousands of civilians and no clear command, the guards made a choice. They opened the gates. For the first time in 28 years, people crossed freely. The Berlin Wall didn't fall because of a plan or a revolution. It fell because one word was spoken too soon, and history moved faster than anyone could stop it. In the late 1950s, China declared war, not on another country, on birds. The government launched a massive campaign to eliminate 4 pests: rats, flies, mosquitoes, and sparrows. Sparrows were blamed for eating grain and threatening food supplies. Millions of citizens were mobilized. Children, workers, entire neighborhoods. People destroyed nests, smashed eggs, banged pots and pans for hours so birds could never land, forcing them to fall from exhaustion. The plan worked. Sparrows nearly vanished. But something critical was forgotten. Sparrows didn't just eat grain, they ate insects. Without birds, locusts and crop-eating insects multiplied uncontrollably. Fields were stripped bare. Harvests collapsed. What followed was one of the deadliest famines in human history. Tens of millions starved. By 1960, the campaign was quietly abandoned. Sparrows were no longer enemies. Bedbugs replaced them on the list. A simple ecological misunderstanding became a national catastrophe. Sometimes the smallest decisions create the biggest disasters.
Thank you for watching this episode to the end. If you found it insightful, support the channel by subscribing. More analytical stories are coming soon.